What up, everybody? Welcome to YouTube live stream again with me, yours truly, Rama Screen. Right now it's Thursday, August 10th, 3:37 p.m. in the afternoon, California time. I figured I'd jump early on here to discuss this latest topic. This is crazy. This. Sorry, that's an advertisement from YouTube. So this topic is really insane. Because as you know, Gal Gadot has a new movie, Heart of Stone, on Netflix, premiering tomorrow. The review embargo lifts this evening. You can watch my review of Heart of Stone later today. So she's been doing interviews and junkets around. Now you might be wondering, Rama, how is that possible? There's an actor strike. Isn't she a member of SAG-AFTRA? Well, the interviews were conducted prior to the strike happening. So before the actor strike, many of these shows and films, they had an inkling that the strike was going to happen. So they had their junkets and interviews happening before the strike. Um, Including Wheel of Time. I will post my Wheel of Time interviews next week. I conducted that interview or those interviews back in June. So so now the embargo for those interviews had been lifted, and those interviews have been published, and those interviews have made news, especially this one in regards to Gal Gadot. Um, Apparently, during the junket prior to the actor strike, she was telling the interviewers, the journalists who were lucky enough to chat with her. I was not invited, unfortunately. Um, th- she's been telling all these guys, like, hey, Wonder Woman 3 is happening. Wonder Woman 3 is happening. Hey, I talked to the DC Studios guys, Pete Safran and James Gunn, and they assured me that Wonder Woman 3 is happening. So let me give you the exact quote here. This was this pretty much went on viral. I think it went viral all the way today, this whole day. Um, Basically, an excerpt, if you will, from her interview via Flaunt magazine, and the quote is Gal Gadot on her Wonder Woman 3. Oh, can you guys see it? Let me make this up. There you go. Can you guys see it? Okay, good. So it says here, via Flaunt magazine, Gal Gadot on her Wonder Woman 3 meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, both of whom, as you know, are the leaders of DC Studios. And quote, this is Gal Gadot's quote: "They told me you are in the best hands. We are going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You've got nothing to worry about." Boom. And you know that was gonna like spread like wildfire over the internet, and it did. Every outlet picked it up and shared it with the world and got retweeted like crazy. Oh my God, Wonder Woman 3 is happening. And I left a comment. I shared with you guys because I did a poll. Remember recently, like, is it possible to call it DCE James Gunn's DCU reboot when Gal Gadot's involved? And I think a lot of you said no on that poll results. So here again, I asked the same question. Then how is this a James Gunn's DCU reboot? So Gal Gadot is the only Snyderverse DCEU star who's returning. The rest of her castmates, Affleck, Cavill, Momoa, they get screwed over. Ray Fisher, of course, already got screwed over with the first one. They're not gonna come back, but her. How is this a reboot? It just doesn't make sense. Um, Time and time again, I wanted to give James Gunn and Pete Safran the benefit of the doubt, but with stuff like this happening, you kind of wonder, like, do they really have it all together there at the DC Studios? What's their master plan? How is Gal Gadot fitting into this whole thing? Um, but soon after this went viral, bam, an update from Variety that got picked up by a lot of outlets as well. This from this past hour, 2:11 p.m. Pacific time. So yeah, within the past hour, Zach Sarf from Variety says Wonder Woman 3 will not fly in the new DC universe, despite Gal Gadot teasing development plans. So that's the most breaking news right now at the moment. Basically, this exclusive from Variety is debunking Gal Gadot's claim that Wonder Woman 3 will be happening. That she's claiming that, oh, Pete Safran and James Gunn want it. I think I'm in it as well, so it's gonna be happening. But this Variety article says, nah, not so fast, not so fast, Gal. So let's read it together here. Is the third Wonder Woman movie on the way from Warner Brothers and DC Studios? Not quite. Despite recent comments from Gal Gadot claiming DC heads James Gunn and Pete Safran told her they would develop Wonder Woman 3 together, sources with knowledge of the situation tell Variety that that is not the case. According to the sources, I hate it when they do that. Like, you know, I just don't want to reveal the sources. I get it. Journalism thing. A third Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at this time for any Wonder Woman project in the new DC universe other than their previously announced Paradise Lost prequel series for Max. Just to refresh your memory, I believe that's the project about the show about Themyscira Island, right? If I'm not mistaken. And it's a show. It's a series. It's not a movie. And it's a prequel way before Wonder Woman ever came to be. So Gal Gadot first suggested that Wonder Woman 3 might not be fully dead in an interview with comicbook.com. I love portraying Wonder Woman. It's so close to and dear to my heart. From what I heard from James and Peter is that we're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 together. That's the comment that I told you went viral, including this one. You know, like, you got nothing to worry about, Gal. We love you as Wonder Woman. We want to make Wonder Woman 3 with you. You know, to that effect. So this article of Variety, what's the old saying again? Put salt on the I forgot what the the American saying for that. Like, oh man, just when you get your hopes up, expectations up, you get hype up about another Wonder Woman 3 movie. Like, this Variety just has to be a buzzkill, guys. Like, I just had to be a buzzkill. But here's my take. So the $1 million question is, who's telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? Is it the sources of Variety? These sources that tell Variety, like, that's not really true. Or is it Gal Gadot telling the truth? I mean, I don't want to accuse anybody of being a liar. I mean, do you honestly think that Gal Gadot could lie just to hype up her new movie, Heart of Stone? Really? You want to construct this Wonder Woman 3 lie so you get some publicity for your Netflix movie, Heart of Stone? I don't know, man. Maybe, does she have it in her to do that? Maybe this is all just a publicity stunt for Heart of Stone. Maybe she's pranking all of us. She's pulling our legs. Although if that is the case, then I would suspect that James Gunn and Pete Safran would not like, hearing that their names are being used that way. So who's telling the truth here? Who's lying? Who's actually what's actually the fact? Is Wonder Woman 3 happening or not? Because Variety says no, it's not. And you know what? I would not be surprised if the sources might be James Gunn and Pete Safran themselves trying to put out the fire, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It's like a damage control, if you will. Maybe it's James Gunn and Safran anonymously, telling this Variety writer journalist, like, hey, it's not really happening. It's just wishful thinking on her part. You know what? Tyler is here. Let's get to Tyler quick. It's kind of funny, but also sad. She said this while promoting Heart of Stone, but everyone's focusing on Wonder Woman and not her new movie. Tyler says would be a fun twist if both of them were lying. If both Variety and Gal Gadot are lying, that would be a fun twist. But guys, you know what? It's he says, she says situation here. Your word against mine situation here. We won't know for sure who's telling the truth here, until somebody actually says something like, "Hey, this is the fact," or maybe when Gal Gadot's like, "Hey, I'm just pulling your legs," sorry, you guys, I just want to bring some attention to Heart of Stone. Sorry if I use Wonder Woman 3 is that, until she says that, unless she says that, we won't know for sure. But I'll tell you this, and I think Tyler can agree with me on this. Wonder Woman 1984 sucked. Okay? Can we all agree on that? That the second Wonder Woman movie was terrible? Except for the beginning scene where she was rescuing people, cleaning the mall. It has that Richard Donner Superman kind of feel to it. That was fantastic. But the rest of it was like 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours, dude. Almost 3 hours long. And it was like a bunch of like mumbo jumbo. By the end of it, I was like, I was still not sure what the movie was trying to say. And then freaking like Kristen Wiig and Pedro Pascal were like the lamest villains. Oh my god, it was exhausting watching that film. Like, really, about media control. That's the theme that you want to put. And then bringing out Chris Pine again. Like, just let the character die, dude. What the hell? it's so it's such a frustrating film that I would never in my life want to watch again or rewatch again ever again. So my point is, or what I'm getting at is, I think we can agree that there's only one Wonder Woman movie. If there is a Wonder Woman sequel in the near future, that would be Wonder Woman 2, because Wonder Woman 1984 sucked ass. Just like there's only 3 Indiana Jones movie. Okay, there's only 3 Indiana Jones movie. Okay, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was an abomination, and the Dial of Destiny was even boring than the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So there's only 3 Indiana Jones movie, and there's only 1 Wonder Woman movie. Okay, can we get that out of the way? My second point that I want to bring up is, again, to my earlier point, like, you can't call it a DCU reboot and have one of the Snyderverse DCU character returning and not have the rest of them come back. Like, it's confusing. It infuriates the fans of the Snyderverse. Like, what the hell? You're abandoning some of them just to have Gal Gadot? What? Because you have a crush on Gal Gadot because she's sexy? I get it. If that's the reason, I totally get it. I understand. But that shouldn't be the reason. It's like it just if you have her back and nobody else from Snyderverse back but her, and then you call it a reboot, it messes things up. It messes things up, and it minimizes and it downplays your credibility, DC Studios. Yeah, I'm talking to you, James Gunn and Pete Safran. you can't have that. So yeah, that's my second point. And you know what? I as much as I love Gal Gadot, if you really want this reboot to work, you gotta move on from her. Okay, it's painful to say that because like I said, I'm not the only one who says it. I have the hugest crush on her, but you gotta move on from her if you wanna be faithful to this plan of yours of rebooting DC Studios. You gotta be committed. You gotta be committed, guys. You can't have like one foot on the back doors, like, oh, we still have this foot in the DCU, Snyderverse DCU. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't. And you know what? It just doesn't make sense as well, because if you look at the ages of David Corenswet, who plays the new Superman, and the age of Rachel Brosnahan, who plays Lois Lane in the upcoming Superman Legacy, guess what? They are in their early 30s. I believe David is 30. Rachel is 32, 33. So it doesn't make sense even to have 38-year-old Gal Gadot, hanging about, hanging or chilling with David Superman and Rachel's Lois Lane. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if for example, okay, and let me hear this out, guys. Hear this out. What do you think? What do you think about this idea? Maybe some of you want to see Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman, and that's fine. But if you want her back as Wonder Woman, don't you think it would be best if the movie, instead of being called Wonder Woman 3, it'll be called Wonder Woman and some subtitle, like Die Hard with a Vengeance, or the Wonder Woman something. And then get this: what if that movie is separate from the DCU, kind of like Robert Pattinson's The Batman, with Matt Reeves, separate, right? Todd Phillips, the Joker, with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga, separate. That's their own standalone world. Joaquin Phoenix Joker doesn't even cross over to Robert Pattinson's the Batman. It's just like a standalone. What do you guys think? That would work, right? If we can make Gal Gadot return as Wonder Woman in a Wonder Woman movie that is separate and standalone, separate from the James Gunn DCU universe. I think that might work. If that is what Pete Safran and James Gunn were alluding to when they allegedly told Gal Gadot, hey, we want to make another Wonder Woman movie, but standalone or separate, then I'll be down for that. I would be down with that idea. Don't you? I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be okay with me. And maybe that is what Gal Gadot was, maybe mishearing. Maybe she's not lying. Maybe they did promise her Wonder Woman movie, but separate, standalone, not necessarily a third installment. Because again, Wonder Woman 1984, what? Sucked ass, okay? We don't even want to recognize that second movie. Yeah, that could be an idea. I'm just throwing it out there, throwing it out in the universe. Hopefully it catches on. Hopefully it happens, but we'll see. Marvin G says, very sexy. Tyler says, for now, it almost sounded like James Gunn told everybody they could come back, except Henry Cavill. Oh, what does James Gunn have against Henry Cavill? Huh? Come on, James. Come on. As of right now, the DC Trinity is Gal, David Corson, and George Clooney. That's a reference to the ending to the Flash film, by the way, guys. If you haven't seen the film, by the way, if you haven't seen the Flash movie, consider yourself lucky. That movie also sucked ass, just like Wonder Woman 1984. Oh my God, that movie, like, it was a bumbling buddy comedy. That's all it was. Between the two Flashes. Yuck, 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 bring three stooges like onto each other, being the odd couple, bouncing off of one another. It's just dumb. It's so dumb. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, if Gal Gadot wants to come back as Wonder Woman, it has to be separate, standalone movie. That's my suggestion. Otherwise, we gotta move on from Gal Gadot, from Wonder Woman. As painful as that, for me to say that, because I think she's one of the hottest women on the planet. You got to be committed to your reboot. All right, it wouldn't work if you're half-heartedly or half-assing this reboot. you can't even have the credibility of calling it a reboot. If you're hanging this Gal Gadot over us. So that's my take on this. We'll see who's telling the truth. Right now, Gal Gadot says Wonder Woman 3 is happening. Variety says no. Sources to us says no. Despite Gal Gadot's claim, it's not happening. What do you guys think about this latest breaking update? And what do you guys want to see happen? Do you want to see Gal Gadot come back as Wonder Woman, or do you want to see all of us DC fans move on from her and just anticipate the master plan that James Gunn and Pete Safran have cooked up? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Marvin and Tyler, thank you for chatting with me. And as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.